Though box office will always be the most important bottom line figure for movie studios, there's no denying the importance of critical reception. Especially in this very strange era where audience attention is so often influenced by just one score, that being the Rotten Tomatoes aggregate. For better or worse, a movie's Rotten Tomatoes score can have a major impact on its commercial viability. And so we look forward to the next 12 months of movies, and factoring in everything we know about these 10 films so far, make some educated guesses about how they'll be received by critics. Of course, it's entirely possible that all of our guesses here are totally off base, but here's our guesses based on who we know is involved and the trailers so far, so let us know what you think of our best guess and make sure you leave yours in that comment section. I'm Jess from What Culture, and here are 10 Rotten Tomatoes predictions for 2022's biggest movies. Number 10, Uncharted. 53%. It'd be foolish to have stratospheric expectations for a video game movie, which is a genre that has punished us time and time again for hoping for the best, and that remains true for the upcoming mediocre-looking Uncharted. Nothing we've seen in the trailers suggests this is anything more than a generic, forgettable action-adventure flick bearing a vague resemblance to its inspiration, crafted less as a faithful adaptation than a star vehicle for Tom Holland. Director Ruben Fleischer is a total wildcard. Though both of his Zombieland movies received critical acclaim, his 3 other movies, 30 Minutes or Less, Gangster Squad, and Venom, have all been all over the map critically. While 2 of the 3 screenwriters co-wrote the original Iron Man, they've also got alarming credits like Punisher Warzone, Transformers The Last Knight, and Men in Black International to their names. Holland's sheer likability and some amusingly daft action sequences will surely prevent this from getting panned. We reckon this one is likely to divide critics between people who think it's fun, watchable froth and those who think it's a little too bland to really recommend, so 53% it is. Number 9, The Batman, 88%. Expectations are enormously high for Matt Reeves as the Batman, especially given that the movie's trailers so far paint a picture of a moody, visually stunning reinterpretation of the Caped Crusader, topped by the left-field casting of Robert Pattinson in the lead role. Reeves' reputation alone is enough to expect big things from this one. His last 3 films did around 88% to 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and even his blockbuster debut Cloverfield did 78%. Between all this and reports that the film is scoring highly in test screenings, this feels like a guaranteed hit with critics, even if a few dissenters might quibble with its bleak tone and apparently lengthy runtime. 88% will put it a hair above both Batman Begins at 84% and The Dark Knight Rises at 87%, but a few points away from the game-changing The Dark Knight, which hit 94%. Sounds about right. Number 8, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, 83%. Even with the Eternals giving the Marvel Cinematic Universe its first rotten movie late last year, it's extremely unlikely we'll see the franchise rack up another rotten film anytime soon. That's almost certainly a rarest of blips on an otherwise immaculate score sheet. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness shouldn't change that, though the heady, potentially messy nature of the multiverse may cause it to dip a few points below the original film's 89%. Given that the sequel recently underwent reshoots, which admittedly is not that uncommon for MCU movies or blockbusters at large, it still stands to reason we're going to be a teensy bit cautious. While its expansiveness will probably exhaust a fraction of critics, this should land a respectable 80+% regardless. Number 7, Lightyear, 94%. Pixar has an incredible critical track record when it comes to its big hit films, and this one should be no exception. What could have been a cynical, shameless Toy Story spin-off actually seems like a pretty damn clever examination of the real Buzz Lightyear, the astronaut who inspired the iconic action figure in the Toy Story universe. Between its evidently stunning animation and the excellent decision to cast Chris Evans as Buzz, this one should be a slam dunk for critics and audiences. Anything below 90% on the tomato meter seems basically out of the question short of a disaster, and it's entirely possible it ends up with strong raves across the board, with few critics dipping below 4 stars. Number 6, Thor Love and Thunder, 91%. Though the first 2 Thor movies are on the lower end of MCU's critical ziggurat, 77% and 66% respectively, Thor Ragnarok represented a major uptick for the series, scoring a huge 93% approval. Much of this success was credited to director Taika Waititi, whose unique comedic sensibilities and visually creative direction lent the film so much more personality than its predecessors. And with Waititi back to not only direct but also co-write the fourth film, it's safe to say he'll probably knock it out of the park again. Of Waititi's last 5 movies, 4 have scored 88% or higher, and while Love and Thunder might not hit with quite the same freshness as Ragnarok, it'll probably end up extremely close reception-wise. Number 5. Black Adam, 80%. The DC Extended Universe is one of the most critically unpredictable franchises out there. Across its 11 movies to date, there are 6 fresh and 5 rotten films, ensuring you may as well flip a coin to try and predict the next movie's quality. But Black Adam is nothing if not a film absolutely crammed with potential. The appeal of Dwayne Johnson playing the legendary anti-hero speaks for itself, even with the wildly inconsistent Jaime Collet-Serra directing. This has been Johnson's passion project for many years, and given that he's also producing the movie, it's easy to believe he's going to help steer it in an entertaining direction, and one that hopefully sets up a future showdown with Shazam. Early test screenings suggest it's shaping up pretty well, so we're expecting this one to rate somewhere around the same vicinity as Birds of Prey. Number 4. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, 95%. Of the 9 Spider-Man movies to date, just 1 has been rotten so far, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with 52%, which is an especially impressive achievement given that these movies span across 4 separate cinematic universes. But the web slinger's best reviewed film to date is in fact of the animated variety, with 2018's incredible Into the Spider-Verse landing a hugely unexpected 97%, in addition to the Oscar for Best Animated Film. Expectations are naturally through the roof for the upcoming sequel, but given the frankly incredible trailer, it's safe to say lightning could strike twice here. Sure, it might lose a few points because it's presumably going to end on a cliffhanger in order to set up part 2, but the marketing so far persuades us that this is every bit as meticulously crafted and downright beautiful as its predecessor. So, 95% it is. Number 3. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, 79%. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is another extremely tricky one to predict, largely because its production has been so heartbreakingly fraught with issues. Chadwick Boseman's sudden death in 2020 required the film to be significantly reworked, with rumors suggesting that Shuri, Letitia Wright, has been drafted in to take up the Black Panther mantle. While critics will likely be forgiving towards a film put in this difficult of a position, and one that will likely offer up an emotional farewell to T'Challa no less, it's also tough to ignore how awkward the movie is going to likely feel. Throw in the controversy around Letitia Wright's anti-vax sentiments, which, no matter what critics claim, may leave a sour taste in their mouths, and it's extremely unlikely Wakanda Forever will recreate the incredible 96% score of its predecessor. It'll still probably do really well, but it's sensible to expect a more mid-tier reception for the sequel, landing around the 80% mark due to its rough edges. Then again, maybe it'll pull a Furious 7 and deliver a miraculously seamless tribute to its fallen lead. Number 2. Avatar 2, 84%. Much as quarters of the internet love to dunk on Avatar for being a simplistic elemental story that hasn't left much of a mark on the world, it was a solid hit with critics, netting 81% on the tomato meter alongside 9 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture and Best Director, resulting in 3 technical wins. While most sequels, especially ones we have to wait a long time for, tend to do far less than their predecessors, if James Cameron really hones his vision for this one, we could see something even better than the original. Either way, its inevitably stunning visuals are going to carry it to solid reviews, but if Cameron has listened to the complaints about the original film and course-corrected accordingly, this sequel could soar above and beyond expectations. Number 1. Mario, 42%. The upcoming Mario is being made by Illumination, that studio behind Despicable Me, The Secret Life of Pets, Sing, and so on. Of the studio's 11 released movies, 6 have been rated fresh and 5 rotten, and as iconic and appealing as Mario is, adapting the character to the big screen is going to be a massive challenge. Given the vitriol already directed towards the film for casting Chris Pratt as Mario, it's facing an uphill struggle to win critics and especially fans over. And so it seems logical to predict wildly mixed reviews. Factoring in the low batting average of video game movies, and it's safe to say this one's probably going to be seeing mixed to negative reviews, as much as we'd love to be wrong. Those are our predictions for 10 of 2022's biggest movies, but do let us know if you think we're right or wrong, and what other movies you think are going to do well and badly on the Rotten Tomato meter this year. As always, I've been Jess from What Culture. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you like, you can come say hi to me on my Twitter account where I'm at Jess McDonald, but make sure you stay tuned to us here for plenty more great content.